Do you feel like you're always drawing the same kind of eyes? How do you draw different variations like droppy eyes or sharp eyes? And what about the differences between drawing a man and woman? I'll be talking about all of that today. Ready? Let's get started. First thing first, let's go over the basic differences in how we draw male and female faces. We'll just do a quick recap here. If you're someone who's like, I don't need to see this part, feel free to skip ahead. For women, the chin is usually drawn smaller and the neck well. You probably already know this, right? Women's necks are slimmer while men's are thicker. The lips tend to be fuller on women and thinner on men. And for the nose, women generally have smaller ones. Of course, this is a stereotype, so it's not something that's set in stone. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm talking about general traits here. Even for eyebrows, there are women with thick brows and it looks super cool. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the general differences in faces. Now let's get into the main topic for today. Yes, eyes. When it comes to the differences between drawing male and female eyes, let me get straight to the point. For me, it mainly comes down to the height of the eyes and the eyelashes. The eyes on a woman are generally taller, while the eyes on a man tend to be shorter. For example, take a look at this drawing where I've swapped the eyes between the male and female characters. What do you think? For the female character, it still looks somewhat believable. There could totally be someone like this. But for the male character, something is a bit off. To fix that, let's start by removing the eyelashes. Even just that small change makes quite a difference, don't you think? Of course, there are men with naturally long lashes, but when you've got a more masculine body structure combined with superstructure lashes like this, it can look a little unnatural. And now, as I mentioned earlier, let's try making the height of the eyes a little shorter. There, that already looks a lot more masculine, doesn't it? As for the female character, this version works fine, but let's add just a bit of extra emphasis on the eyelashes. Not every woman wears makeup, of course, but even so, adding a little extra to the lashes makes the eye look more feminine. So, when I draw male and female eyes, I pay the most attention to the height of the eye and the eyelashes. Now, moving on to the next part, how do we actually draw eyes? Before that, though, let's take a look at the different types of the eye we can draw. There's the standard eyes, European eyes, upward tilted eyes, and eyes that emphasize the white part. I base my decisions on those 4 basic eye types when deciding which kind of type of eye to draw. One of the key things I always keep in mind when drawing eyes is understanding the parts that make up the eye. What I mean is, when you think about it, humans have an what you call that? Eyeball, it's correct, right? And then on top of that, we have the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid, along with the crease of the double eyelid above, and finally, the eyelashes. So it's these 5 main elements that I'm always aware of when drawing eyes. For example, let's try drawing an upward tilted eye now. When I draw upward tilted eyes, I focus on the upper eyelid. If you tilt the upper eyelid upward like this, even if the lower eyelid stays as it is, the eye will still look upward tilted. The upper eyelid doesn't even have to be a straight line. You can just lift the corner slightly and it works. As long as the upper eyelid goes up, the lower eyelid doesn't have to follow. Now, let's move on to droopy eyes. Droopy eyes are really tricky for me, so I usually only tilt either the upper eyelid or the lower eyelid, not both. That's because if you drop both like this, it ends up looking unnatural. At least that's my personal opinion. So if I tilt the upper eyelid down, I'll keep the lower eyelid as it. And if I drop the lower eyelid, I leave the upper eyelid alone. By sticking to just one or the other, you can create a natural looking droopy eye. Otherwise, it can start to look too exaggerated. Another fun option is to leave out the lower eyelid entirely and express the eye using just the eyelashes. Like I said earlier, changing the size of the eye also adds a lot of character variation. Finally, one last simple but interesting thing I want to mention is the double eyelid crease. Just tweaking this little line can change the overall expression of the eye. For example, take this female character here. In one drawing, I've drawn a soft, curved double eyelid, and in the other, the crease tilted upwards. When you compare them side by side, you can see how much the expression changes. I haven't changed the eyes themselves at all, just the double eyelid. So today, I shared some of the things I pay attention to when drawing eyes. Eyes are so difficult, and honestly, I'm still learning too. But drawing different kinds of eyes is just so much fun, right? I hope you guys can enjoy experimenting with it as well. If you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments or consider subscribing to my channel. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great drawing day. Bye bye!